Hello everyone, in this video I will show you some best upcoming PlayStation 5 games in 2020, but before we start this video, make sure any further ado, let's start this video. The first game of this video is Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales. During Sony Future of Gaming event, we were given our first glimpse of Insomniac follow-up to 2018 Marvel's Spider-Man. While there was some initial confusion surrounding whether it would be an expansion to the first game or a sequel, we gotten confirmation that Spider-Man Miles Morales is a full-fledged, standalone game. Details are scarce at the moment, but the teaser trailer presents a slightly older Miles than when we last saw him. It appears Peter Parker has stepped away from the Big Apple and entrusted Miles to keep the city safe while he's gone. Considering Miles' Spidey suit comes with its own perks, namely his paralyzing Venom strike gloves, it'll be interesting to see what other powers make it into the final game. Next up we have Horizon Forbidden West. Following an announcement earlier this year that Horizon Zero Dawn would be ported to PC, Sony has unveiled a sequel for PS5 titled Horizon Forbidden West. The game looks just as gorgeous as the original, if not more, and plans to expand upon the mysterious open-world Aloy and her tribe's people share with mechanical beasts. There appears to be a host of graphical improvements included with the sequel, in addition to some interesting gameplay features such as water traversal and new robotic creatures to either befriend or battle. Horizon has always stood out for its unique interpretation of a post-apocalyptic world, and we're eager to see what lies beyond the Forbidden West. Next up we have Gran Turismo 7. Every console generation we treated to a new racing game with sleek-looking cars that do a great job of showing off the capabilities of the new hardware. Sony is using the same approach for the PS5 and has debuted the next entry in the long-running Gran Turismo series. Gran Turismo 7 sees the return of highly requested features that were excluded from the previous entry, including a full-fledged career mode that's sure to make up for GT Sport slim pickings. Additionally, the game will reintroduce tuning shops and trial mountain. Of course, you can also count on a plethora of new vehicles from the biggest brands in racing to make an appearance. Next up we have Godfall. Godfall made its debut during the Game Awards 2019, where a teaser trailer set the tone for the high fantasy action RPG and confirmed it would be releasing for PS5. The game sees you playing as one of three classes belonging to the Night Order, a group of warriors tasked with preventing an apocalyptic event from destroying the world. It has some obvious Souls-like qualities in terms of atmosphere and gameplay, but seems to be targeting the shooter audience, supporting up to 3-player drop-in drop-out co-op, along with class customization in the form of equipable armor called Allure Plates. The game is confirmed to be releasing on PS5 and PC via the Epic Games Store during holiday 2020. Next up we have Kena Bridge of Spirits. An impressive highlight from Sony Future of Gaming presentation was Kena Bridge of Spirits, a third-person action-adventure title exclusively coming to PS5. The game comes from developer Ember Lab, an indie studio who prior to transitioning into game design, specialized in character development for animated commercials. The studio animation prowess is on full display in the announcement trailer for Kena, depicting fluid movement and combat systems brimming with flashy particle effects and lush forest backgrounds. Reminiscent of games like Pikmin, the story sees you growing a team of tiny companions called the Rot, increasing their numbers and unlocking new abilities that allow them to manipulate the environment. Next up we have Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. Ratchet and Clank will be making a return on the PS5 inches a brand new adventure called Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. The game sees the titular heroes entangled in an interdimensional crisis in which portals connecting different worlds become haywire and begin opening at random. Rift Apart will be the first new entry in the shooter platformer series since the 2016 remake of the first game for PS4. Insomniac plans on harnessing the ray tracing capabilities of the PS5 hardware as well as the DualSense controller enhanced haptic feedback in order to make Rift Apart the most exciting and immersive entry to date. Next up we have Ghostwire Tokyo. We recently got a closer look at Shinji Mikami and Tango Gameworks' upcoming first-person action-adventure game Ghostwire Tokyo, coming PS5 and PC in 2021. You play as one of the few remaining survivors following a paranormal event that causes 99% of Tokyo population to disappear. Soon after, your character discovers they become embedded with their very own supernatural abilities and sets out to rid the city of the horrific terrors that now occupy the streets. Next up we have Resident Evil Village. Capcom plans to set a new standard for survival horror with the 8th mainline entry in the iconic Resident Evil franchise. Resident Evil Village will bring the company in-house RE engine to next-gen hardware and deliver even more ultra-realistic environments and characters to players' screens. The story is set a couple of years after the events of RE7 and sees protagonist Ethan Winters living happily with his reunited wife Mia. Next up we have Cyberpunk 2077. Arguably the biggest early release of 2020, Cyberpunk 2077 has some pretty big shoes to fill. After all, CD Projekt Red The Witcher 3 is often regarded as the best game of this generation. Having been delayed until September 2020, only a couple of months before the PS5 is expected to launch, it's safe to say you can count on a next-gen Cyberpunk port. The last game of this video is originally scheduled to release in March 2020. Watch Dogs Legion was one of many Ubisoft games to be delayed until the next financial year, April 2020 to March 2021. This was then followed by an announcement from Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot confirming it will be available on both current and next-gen consoles. The sequel introduces a host of new features, including the ability to play as any NPC you encounter in the open world as you rebel against a private military that has seized control over London. So that's it guys, thanks for watching this video. Subscribe to your channel Games Down and press the bell icon for more gaming videos.